I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again for the finale, so far at least, of the Fargo series. Now they might make a season 6 in the future, but for now, this is the end. And I've enjoyed this entire show so much, I cannot believe this is actually the last episode of it ever. But just know if they do ever release a season 6, I will go right back to it and make sure I react to that also. But where did we leave off? I mean, everything is in place. We got Roy and the militia holding the standoff at his ranch. We've got the feds with SWAT teams on the other side ready to shoot. Dorothy is somewhere on the property. Werewolf guy just showed up and gave her a gun, got her out of the hole, then walked away into the mist. Don't know if to ever return again or that's him gone. Gator's somewhere on the property blind. The black cop who got shot in the leg is on the property and he's been tasked with finding Dorothy. So there's quite a melting pot going on in this scenario, and I just hope that none of the characters we like get shot. One last thing, I don't care if everyone else survives this season. Roy must die. It's only right. We need to see him get badly murdered on camera, so here's hoping for that. So yeah, without further ado, this is episode 10 of season 5. Biz quick, let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. And Roy did just straight up leave Gator in the field. I was being sort of metaphorical last episode saying leaving him alone in this field, assuming he wasn't too far away from anyone. He looks like he's in the middle of a frozen desert. But if you're gonna die next to a tree, that's a very cinematic one. I just wish we'd have seen a tiny bit of him as the boy he was sort of before Roy beat it out of him. I feel like it would allow us to sympathise with him more, because I have nothing but sympathy left and a little bit of pity for this character. This looks like the place where Werewolf guy went to do the goat sacrifice. Sometimes in real life you get people whose characters are truly wafer thin and you can't take them serious, and then sometimes there are people that'll die, you know, just for a conversation and you've said something they strongly disagree with. Everyone has a density and Gator is absolutely paper thin. Which is why I can't even be mad at him, even though when I think about him I think, you know, inhaling the vape, taking away evidence, being racist, like all these horrible traits he displayed in the first few episodes, but it's not him. It's a paper thin facade, which was stripped away so quickly when shit actually hit the fan for him.
Alpha team is moving.
Are we getting to the point yet where this could be described as a prolonged standoff? Has anyone slept yet, for example? Wow, he found some like underground tunnel to get himself back here. I mean, it looks like he's crawled out into the exact same place he just left. He's still in the middle of nowhere. I actually hope something good happens to Gator before the end of this episode, you know. I guess he sealed his fate when he caused that old woman to have a brain hemorrhage. He's on the naughty list and Noah Hawley will make him pay for that act. I understand. At this point, I've forgiven him.
See a man in a dress, come through here, haircut like the Three Stooges.
Quite a good description of Werewolf Guy. I'd say Werewolf Guy's got more of a Beatles or Monkeys sort of haircut going on.
How come your son is such a fuck-up? Weak.
Alright, go ahead. Take your dentures out so I don't break them.
This guy's straight away firing shots. And last episode did hint towards there being some rumblings internally within this militia. Oh, shit. Fucking hell, Roy, that is just too ruthless. You're already fighting an old man, and he was prepared to go fists up with you, even though you've got like 20 years on him, and you straight up slice his throat instead. I don't know if that's cowardly or... Yes! Yes! Oh my god, what is fucking happening? I'm trying to get my thoughts out and more shit's happening. Finish him right now, Nadine, Dorothy, whatever you want to refer to yourself as.
Come on.
Give us a kiss.
Even to the last minute, he's a piece of shit.
No!
Oh no, this is what I did not want to happen. I knew they were gonna get caught in amongst this bullshit. And Roy better not escape, I'll tell you that right now. If Roy escapes, I want Werewolf Guy to be catching him instantly. Oh, he's going into the same place Gator went into. Now that would be so poetic if Gator was the guy that killed him. Even though I know Gator's came out of the other side of that since. I've got to say they've really knocked it out of the park with the snow and mist effects this season, because the one thing about season 1 was when that snowstorm came, it was clearly a bit digital effecty. I'm not getting that vibe from them doing it this season. The effects, or however they're doing it, has improved drastically. Oh god, this is even worse, man. How has this guy managed to get himself separated from the entire unit and now he's just in this place with a pistol and we know Roy's here? They can't kill this guy episode 10. He's done nothing to nobody. He's tried to help and he's been shot in the leg. They can't kill him. I see Roy behind him. I see him walking up slowly. He can't kill him.
Whoops.
Yeah, you slow, clumsy prick.
Stop.
Son, my destiny is at the other end of that tunnel.
Stop calling everyone son, you condescending prick. For fuck's sake, please tell me you put a fatal bullet in him before he stabbed you. No! For fuck's sake. Are you shitting me? Well, that goes against all the rules of the season finale, Noah Hawley. Why are you killing this guy? He done nothing to nobody the whole show and got shot in his fucking leg. You love killing people like that, Noah. Cannot believe Roy just killed that guy. Again, the only thing we can hope now is that Gator somehow is still in that tunnel and hears Roy, and Roy maybe gets killed by Gator. That would be amazing.
What's there?
Oh, thank God. Thank God the feds had this hole covered. You're fucking done, mate. You are fucking done.
I'm sorry.
This poor guy. Never thought I would feel so sorry for this fucking guy. Like 90% of this season, I can't believe it. I feel so sorry for him. He was just young and misguided and stupid.
Did you really see my mom?
I thought I did, but she was just a beautiful angel in a dream.
What a nice thing to say after the fact, but also that puppet story just paints a horrible environment. I mean, imagine how terrified Gator was the day that Roy just killed his mother and said, "You're staying with me as my son."
I need to find my trooper, Whitfire, just to thank him.
Oh, fuck off. I told that guy to stay in the fucking car last episode. I knew this shit would happen deep down. How are they gonna call this season woke? Noah Hawley's fucking racist. The one black guy in the big Midwestern shootout, and who dies first, eh, Noah? And Dorothy did so well to survive all of that. I hope she has a nice life from here on out. I know she's not a real character, but I hope that fake character has the best life of all time. And I'll go back to episode 1. I still think there's a little bit of Peggy in this woman. Seriously, they seem like long lost sisters or something.
Come here, baby.
That's so good to see. And the husband seems like he's basically back to normal at this point.
Shot him in the stomach, they said, which, that's my girl.
That's so cool she said that. That's so cool. It's weird because there are people in life who can motivate you and encourage you every day, and for some reason it doesn't ever hit as much as when like an icy person drops the mask for a minute and is just like, fucking good going, good job. You have impressed me. Because they're so icy, it's almost like an otherworldly compliment.
I like the new ads. You and Wayne together.
Oh yeah, they're moguls now.
I hope Beautiful Lady Cops had some good life development in the last year.
Well, I gotta go meet your mother-in-law. Some business to take care of.
Oh, there we are right there. She now works for Mrs. Lyons. Perfect.
I think that we can do. Yeah, right? Could I have a big bag?
And we can add this cop to the list of decent people who were brought into the bullshit of this show and then died, like Cy from season 3 and like Lester Freeman's second wife in season 1. Every now and again, just a totally nice, innocent person gets brought into the worst circumstances in this show, killed ruthlessly, and then forgotten about. I hope it's not the chains making Roy walk funny there.
You know what I'd love to see on you? A noose.
Hey, watch your mouth, convict.
What a fucking asshole. Has Roy now got some sort of swastika on his neck, alluding to him joining the skinheads now he's incarcerated?
No apology. Men separated by race. Races stacked with the strong on top.
That's actually really interesting. You know, if you think about it, Roy's mindset is kind of perfect for prison. In his quote-unquote, you know, only the strong survive, that is exactly what prison is like, so he might thrive here, he might like it. It's quite unsatisfying.
Vienna sausages, that kind of thing.
Which prisoners?
All of the men on cell block D.
So she's given benefits to every single prisoner in the cell, in the jail except him.
You want me dead?
No, I want you alive for a very, very long time.
So was she just saying she's bought off every other prisoner to fuck him up? I love Mrs. Lyons now. She's actually an amazing character.
These might come in handy.
Well, he's maybe bought himself like 1 day's less ass kickings with that pack of cigarettes, so it was still a nice gift. And that is actually as satisfying as seeing Roy die this season, knowing he's just absolutely gonna get fucked up for years in that prison. That is satisfying to me.
Ryan?
Hi, Alan. Yeah, the chili's on the stove, and then this fella...
Oh shit! Looks like you've got a new roommate, Dorothy.
What are you doing here?
You don't want to hear him say, I live here now.
Man, freeze. A tiger. This does not mean the man is finished with her.
Shit, so he's came back for the rematch, now it's all over, 1 year later.
We saw a tiger once at the Minneapolis Zoo. Do you know you can hear them roar from, 2 miles away?
I really like Wayne, but even though he's got his mental faculties back, this is such a soft stance to take to a man just walking in your house and sitting down.
Well, I'm Wayne, so...
He's playing this character great as well. It's a very hard character to pull off, obviously.
We will finish our engagement now.
The fuck does that mean, man? You were hired for the job, and the job failed, and the guy never paid you. Why'd you still want to kill her?
A man's flesh was taken. Now a pound is required in return.
A pound of Dorothy's flesh? Doesn't the orange aid decrease the debt slightly?
A man is grateful.
If you've came for blood, never forget your manners.
From the age of the carrier pigeon, cannot remember the year of his birth.
Such a mysterious character that I wish we got more explanation to, but I don't think we will, unless this is the moment we do.
Drawn by the songs of the river.
My dad, Wink, well, he's a big fly fisherman.
I caught a cold.
Yeah.
How was Scotty and Dorothy's husband so oblivious to the severity of this situation?
But people always say debt must be paid. Isn't the better thing to say that debt should be forgiven?
This is a really good way to tie a bow on the theme of debt throughout this season, this scene.
Probably time to make the biscuits.
It's not chili without biscuits.
No.
He's more of a pancake guy.
We're halfway to supper. So either you wash your hands and you help, or we do this another time.
I wonder if he's a good cook. Let's see him wash his hands and help.
Can I chocolate milk? What? You just had M&M's.
Oh.
I feel like he's having an eternal breakdown right now, thinking, fuck, have I lived 500 years demanding pounds of flesh off people when I could have just said, you're forgiven. You help. You can't just show up at people's houses, squatting and demanding pancakes through your whole 500-year life without lifting a finger, wash your hands, and help with the potatoes.
You know what I learned today? Chimpanzees can learn to drive.
No way.
No way!
He has a code, and the code...
You're in the way.
He's trying to deliver his fucking epic witchy speech. Don't interrupt him with kindness.
Milk. So, go ahead and measure out a cup.
This is an amazing scene.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Pour it in there.
You're not gonna wanna eat goats after you try a cake. This is going to change your whole life.
Maybe you're feeling sideways about it because of what it cost you. A partner.
The guy was a shit partner, that is no loss.
Can't be mad at the risk. That'd be like getting mad at the table you stubbed your toe on.
I've got mad at the table I've stubbed my toe on a few times.
Say that as if life is a circle, but it's a line.
I think both philosophies are kind of true in a way. Life can be perceived as a circle or a line.
Well, personally, I've never been across the sea.
No.
I can't believe how nice the husband's being to this random man in his house.
He rode a horse without saddle or reins, and the people of the plains were his people.
It's impressive enough to ride a horse without a saddle or reins, mate. You didn't have to amass a people army on top of it.
I don't know if I could go an hour without talking.
Seriously, Fargo is all about dichotomies, contrasts, and this whole season, I feel like, has worked up to the ultimate dichotomy of having a 500-year-old werewolf assassin having to make dinner and have a family conversation. It's just a perfect dichotomy going on right now.
Nate flees from the rats.
Because he's all giving speeches like this, but they're all just responding with things like, oh, geez.
But the food was not food. It was sin.
He must be talking about the flashback scene that we saw. It's an insane backstory. I wish they genuinely dedicated an hour to in this season.
Cannot die. He has no dreams.
Could this guy technically be interpreted as Jesus if he consumed all the sins of man and then could not die? I know it's not the Bible story, that's not what Jesus did, I know, but you know, it's kind of similar rhyming sort of things going on there.
You want to know the cure? You gotta eat something made with love and joy and be forgiven.
Imagine if that did cure him and he just started to age and he was like, oh shit, I've been doing some horrible things this last half millennia to please the gods I didn't need to please. You wait until this hits your lips, mate. You'll be like, I've been eating raw goats. Why was I breaking into animal barns when I could have been breaking into middle-aged women's kitchens, following the scent of cookies through the night? Come on, that's got to be tasting better than the sins of all combinative mankind. Hey, he likes it. Oh, is that the end? Oh man, it felt like we had another 15 minutes or something to go. Ah, shit. Okay, and that was episode 10 of season 5 of Fargo Bizquick, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Bizquick, what did I think of that? A brilliant episode to an absolutely brilliant season. For me, this season is right up there with seasons 1, 2 and 3. It started with the standoff at the ranch. Everything escalated into a gun battle as we knew it would last episode. Dorothy got the drop on Roy on his porch, shot him once in the gut. It was absolutely glorious. I just wish she'd have finished him off with a headshot then and there. And although we didn't see much of Gator this episode, just watching his desperate crawl through that tunnel, coming up out into yet another tundra really, and then finding out it was him that had given up the escape tunnel that Roy used to the police later. It was kind of a good little character arc, and then the conversation he had with Dorothy in the ambulance afterwards as well. Like seriously there, I never thought my perception of that character would would change so much in 2 or 3 episodes, but it genuinely did, and I was rooting for that guy by the end of this season, and I'm happy that he was out alive and Dorothy was being nice to him. For some reason, at this point in the series, I felt like Black Cop character was safe. I don't know why. I did not feel his life was in danger. Even though I knew Roy was sneaky and he was going to try everything to close that gap with the knife, I thought, nope, this cop is too smart for that bullshit. If Roy tries it, he's going to shoot him dead. But oh, fucking I'll be goddamned if Roy didn't close the gap and stab him in the chest. R.I.P. to the cop. He was kind of a side character, but what I liked about it is, like, think about it, he didn't do a selfless act this whole season. A woman saved him from definitely dying from a gunshot wound to the leg, and after that he was just concerned for her safety and wanted to help her, and everything he did after that moment throughout this show was just the sole motivation and making sure that Dorothy Lyons was okay. And then breaking up the 2 main portions of this episode, which I would say was the opening and closing segments, was the small moment in the middle where we mourned the cop's death, but also we got the scene of Mrs. Lyons in the jail with Roy, and that was glorious because at first I felt like, oh shit, Roy's gonna thrive in this place, you know, only the strong survive. It's all the shit he talked about, plus it's racially segregated. I mean, he'd be fucking loving that shit. Only for her to quell his arrogance by saying, actually I've donated money to every other person in this jail other than you. Everyone's gonna make your life a living hell. Here's a pack of cigarettes that you can evenly distribute to potential sexual assaulters to save your arsehole from the first 2 weeks of pulverization. And I'm not pro-sexual assault, but anyone that does not wish the repeated sexual assault of Roy Tillman is living in a godless void. And then we got the final segment, and I did notice that there was like 25 minutes left after the standoff at the ranch and after the prison sequences. So I was like, okay, what's gonna go on now then? It was good to see, by the way, let me just also mention her character, because it was kind of subdued in this episode, but she played a bigger part throughout the whole show. It's nice to see that Nice Lady Cop took the job with Mrs. Lyons and is now working security with Mrs. Lyons, and also that scene we got between Dorothy and Mrs. Lyons when she said, that's my girl, good for you. Small words, but coming from someone like her mean more than a Bible of words coming from some other people who are overly complimentary to the point that it means nothing when they say this shit. Truly heartwarming when an absolute ice giant like Mrs. Lyons actually says you did a good job. I don't know why that is, it's a phenomenon. These people should not be rewarded for being icy assholes to us 99% of the time, but it's just how it is. If they turn around and say, you know what, I'm proud of you, your fucking soul will melt. You know, it's like my dad throughout my whole life has never said, I'm proud of you, son, to me once. I think if he turned around and said that to me at this point, I would deatomize. So yeah, the last segment, Werewolf Guy just randomly shows up in Dorothy's house, and man, it starts like really tense. We know why he's here. He gives his witchy speech, but then instantly you realize that this scene is going to be something different. The tension quickly diffused for me as soon as, so Werewolf Guy was in the middle of giving one of his witchy speeches, and then zoom, an orangeade comes into frame from Dorothy's husband, and then another one comes in and clinks it, and I just knew that this is just going to be one of those dichotomy scenes with a bunch of nice Minnesotans having to have a conversation with a witchy 500-year-old sin-eating Welshman. And that is exactly what we got, and it was brilliant. And I kind of like the fact it tied the bow on the whole debt conversation, and then Dorothy went on to say, you know, what about forgiveness? And it actually made him think, oh, maybe I've been eating goats all these years for nothing. And then he helped make the food, took one bite of the delicious pastry, and joy was brought to his face. I mean, it's a strange ending, but I fucking loved it. And one last thing I want to say is Noah Hawley is probably really distracted right now because he's been given the keys to one of the most popular franchises in all of cinema, which is Aliens. He is writing the Aliens TV show. I really hope he knocks it out the park, and from watching his work on this Fargo show, I know he's got it in him to make perhaps the best Aliens thing ever, since Aliens Alien and Aliens back in the 70s and 80s. Who knows how much the suits are leaning on him for making sure certain things are in the script though. You know, when you're dealing with a property that big, it's probably not all your decisions being made at the writing table, but if these guys gave Noah Hawley 100% creative control and allowed him to write a 10-season script for the Alien show, I really think he could bring something special to it. I'm getting distracted and delivering diatribes about other shows here, but my point is he must be very distracted with that franchise just now, and I really hope he makes it work. That being said, when he has the time, and I hope he takes his time to write a season 6, the same process he used to write seasons 1, 2, 3, and 5, I will be so happy, because as soon as season 6 comes out, as long as it's written by Noah Hawley, I will be reacting to it for this channel, and I've loved reacting to this show. So many unique, creative, interesting elements throughout the entire thing, and I'll be goddamned if them short stories still don't stick in my head the most. You know, right now, when I'm reflecting on the whole series, all I can think about is the rich guy who gave all his money and body away and still couldn't do enough, and the robot. I mean, I don't know why these small stories just stay with me, but they'll stay with me until the end of time. And that is just a tiny snippet of the genius, creativity, brilliant acting performances, interesting characters, hilarious moments, etc. throughout this entire show. What a great show it is. And this is one of the few shows that's actually currently, I believe, in the top 20 TV shows of all time, and it's still running. You know, most of the shows in that list have finished, so I mean, who knows where Fargo might end up when it's all said and done, but I just want to say Noah Hawley is now one of my favourite writers. And also, I do this on purpose because I don't like, you know, looking and sifting through information while I'm reacting to stuff, but I have meant it every time I've said the cinematographer for this show is my favourite cinematographer in all film and television. Every single shot is framed so beautifully to me. He understands spacing, distance, everything is just the way I would want to frame and film something if I was ever directing or cinematographing something myself. I just wouldn't have the skill to choose the genius shit that this guy seems to constantly pick. So yeah, I mean, you've got an A-grade writer, and the shots being composed are just some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. This show's just amazing. So yeah, I could gush about this for another hour. I actually could. I could go back through all 5 seasons and all that shit. But let's just leave it as I have thoroughly enjoyed this show, and whatever comes next has large shoes to fill. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.